Thank you, guys. It is great to be here. My right ear is just ringing right now. Thank you, guys. That was awesome, man. I can't wait for all of you to experience that. And we just feel so honored and privileged to be up here to share with you. We have an hour. The most we ever had to speak was 20 minutes, and I fear for you. Ron said you have an hour. I go, I don't know if you want to do that, but there's basically 3 ways for a guy to accessorize: ties, watches, and boots. And I ruptured my Achilles about a month ago, and I've tried everything for the last 7 years to make sure that you know, I'm always doing the board plans and Marcie doesn't have to fill in for me. But the day happened, and Marcie had to do 2 board plans because I can basically do nothing in this business except do board plans. Marcie can do everything else, and she's never shown a plan, and now she's shown a plan, and I got the recording of the second one that she did, and I'm just going, what? Like, why do you have to be good? So now I'm kind of irrelevant in this relationship, in this partnership. But I playing basketball, and I just made a move, and it snapped, and I think the message that God's trying to send me is that He thinks I should maybe play, you know, wheelchair basketball, and then this won't happen anymore. But I just want to introduce you to Marcie, and she'll start off, and she's just awesome. You know, she gave birth 8 days ago. I'm totally outnumbered now. We had another daughter, so we have 2 daughters now. And along with Marcie, I'm outnumbered 3-1 if you don't include our nanny. If she's there, I'm outnumbered 4-1. And so I'm lobbying to have a manny because then at least it evens it out a little bit more. But she's awesome, and she has a great message to share with you. And we really are where we are because of her. If I had to build this business on my own, I'm pretty sure I would have got to about Platinum Plus. Not quite Platinum Elite, though. I'm just evaluating my leadership, and I got a long way to go. And we are where we are because of Marcie and her leadership and her capacity, and she's just fantastic. So here is my diamond bride, Marcie Whalen.
So, I hope you enjoyed our makeshift lifestyle video. I just emailed some pictures to the Worldwide guys, and just so you know, we did a Harlem Shake video. That's what part of that was, except they couldn't play the music to it because of the rights, so we just looked crazy on it. I was like, people are going to be confused what we're doing. Yeah, it is overwhelming to be up here and to come out here. I was so focused on just trying to get to this function because our little daughter that was born 8 days ago, she was 11 days overdue. And it was just like I was waiting to have this baby, and finally I counseled upline, and Carolyn Payne told me to take castor oil, and it worked like a beauty, and that baby came right out. And and then that was the easy part, giving birth. The hard part was getting a passport to come and to get the baby into this country. And to make a long story short, Dean basically had to march our birth documents down to medical processing records at the hospital and had them do it right there in front of him. And we got our documentation to come here, and so we're very excited to be up here. And so when I walked out, I was just kind of overwhelmed because I was like, oh, we're here. We actually did it. And it's so awesome to be with you because I would have been in Vegas if I could have been. I was still in the hospital. This is what we do. We love this business. We love the people in this business. And being Diamond, we are, I guess, 2 months into officially being Diamond, and it's awesome. We're more excited than ever, more active and plugged in than ever, just to be able to experience the freedom that we've been able to experience. Our bank account has significantly increased in size. That was a really fun day when we didn't know how our income would change. And then so I logged into our online banking to see, you know, when the deposits were made, and I was like, Dean, come over here, check this out. It's very exciting, I will tell you that. And to just have the abundance that we've been able to experience, and really to earn the respect of our upline and the diamonds in that back room, that's hugely impactful to us to have been able to do that. But today I didn't really want to talk about going diamond. We'll save that for FED, I guess. Today I wanted to talk about working hard, the work of this business, and what it takes. And I guess Leslie and I were on the same brain wave, because I wanted to talk to the women too, especially because I think you women are awesome. Not to take away from the men, of course. You guys are amazing, but the women in this business, your mothers, daughters, sisters, leaders, you do it all. And you truly amaze me. I just love talking to the women in our business and just seeing how they're growing and stretching themselves. And it has been a journey for me as a woman in this business from when I started. You saw some of the pictures of us in the beginning. We were young kids when we started. We were 23 and immature. I knew what working hard was because Dean and I both played college athletics, so we knew in the athletic world what it was like to work hard. But we had never experienced, the career side of working hard necessarily, or what it looks like to apply ourselves to a cause that we believe in and that we wanted to be committed to. And I find it so funny because a lot of our family or acquaintances, they make comments, right? I'm sure you've all heard them. You guys sure are busy. You're sure gone a lot. You sure work hard in that business. And that's true. We do work hard in this business, but I think it's so ironic because they're going to work their whole life. And they're going to work for 40, 50 years every day, well, 5 days a week at least. And yet they think what we do is hard. I don't think what we do is hard at all. I think what we do is an amazing work. It's a good work. But in order to get up here on the stage and to be recognized as a new diamond, you have to put your back into it. You have to go. And I guess I just want to talk a little bit about our journey in that area, because not to say, wow, look at what we've done, or isn't that great for us, but to show you and just to give you, I guess, real examples of what it takes to go diamond. Because I'll speak, I guess, for kind of a lazy generation in a lot of ways. We're entitled in many ways. Our parents, because they had to work so hard, wanted to give us everything. And not that it's their fault, but somewhere in translation it kind of happened that a lot of people that we know and that are in our generation just think they're owed something. And like this business should just happen. And I'll be totally honest with you, when I hear from different leaders in this business, through council sessions or whatever, and I know we've all gone through this, but when I hear people say, I'm just so frustrated, it's so hard, and I don't know if we can do this, I think, well, what makes you think you're just going to waltz into a diamond ship? What makes you think it's just going to be handed to you? Of course it's hard. Of course it's hard. It's the hardest thing you'll ever have to do. It's earning your freedom. It's earning a legacy for your family. It's not going to be puppy dogs and rainbows. It's going to be blood, sweat, and tears. And of course there are amazing moments and joy along the way, and you should enjoy the journey, because then if you're not enjoying the journey, you've lost half the fun of it. But there are times where you'll be stretched. You'll wonder if you can do it. You'll think, am I worthy? Can we really build this thing? Those are normal thoughts to think, but that's not a reason to stop. That's not a reason to not keep going forward. I can honestly say that Dean and I, we have had moments of doubt. I'm sure we've had moments where we were down and out, but never once did we ever consider stopping or quitting or giving in or stepping back. Because that just is foreign to us. I can't imagine what else would we do? Watch The Voice? Would we play recreational sports, trying to capture the college days? I mean, what else could possibly be a better work than going into people's living rooms and helping them get their finances on track, helping them be home with their kids? I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't want to do that every day. Is it tiring? Sure, it's tiring. But it's tiring in a fulfilling way. in a way that is rewarding. I mean, a lot of people have been very gracious and have said, oh, I can't believe you're here. You just gave birth a week ago. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think it's really that big of a deal that I'm here. I think a lot of the women back there have done more than that, I'm sure, have done better than that. It's just what we do. It's not a big deal. Well, there are so many people going through such greater obstacles and challenges than anything we've been through. And so anytime I start to feel sorry for myself, or I start to think, oh, this is hard, or oh, I'm tired, or whatever, I just tell myself to pull up my panties. Because really, it is not that bad. It is not that tough. And I just am so grateful that I have women in my life to look to be inspired by, to maybe pick me up a bit when I'm feeling down. And that's what you all have in your upline. I have amazing women in my upline. Brandy has been just an incredible source of strength for me over the years. She's spoken into me and believed in me, especially when it comes to our marriage, when I was frustrated and wanted to kill Dean at times. She is the truest sense of a friend that I know what a friend is. She's never lied to me. She's told me things when I probably didn't want to hear them. She's told me the truth. She has laughed and giggled with me, and we've been really silly and told incredibly dirty jokes to each other and laughed because we have dirty minds, so you just know that now. She has been the greatest friend to me, and I think I would quit on that. I would walk away from that. I'd say, oh, it's too hard right now. Thanks for all the time you've put into us. Thanks for all the times you drove up to Edmonton and sewn into us, but we're having a bad week, so see you later. I just can't fathom that. And so I guess my message today, I just want to say to you that you can do more. You can be greater. You may feel like you're at the end of your rope, or maybe you think, gosh, we're here at Another Leadership and it's just us, or we didn't grow this year, or maybe you're going through a tough challenge in your marriage. I don't know, but you know what? Life is great. You live in the greatest country in the world. You have a roof over your head. You have food in your belly. You have more opportunity than probably 98% of people in this world. And so I don't feel sorry for you. And I don't mean that to be harsh. I think that sounded harsher than I meant it. I just mean, like, we have so much that we can do. And Dean and I, going diamond is just the first step. There's so much more to be done. And I just know that, you know, for us women who tend to be more tied up in our emotions, and we tend to be a little bit more unpredictable maybe in that area, you can do so much more than you think you can. You can grow your capacity to such a level that will amaze you and your husband. You can impact people with your heart in ways that your husband can't. You can reach out to people and use your compassion and your empathy and your joyous spirit to bring people into this business and save lives. We're so important in this business, ladies, and we don't have time to feel bad for ourselves or to get down. And I'm not saying that we should hide those feelings when we're feeling them. It's important to be real. I feel like I'm transparent a lot of the time, and I try to be real, but not to the point of taking ourselves out and allowing it to stop us from impacting other people. You are the river, you are the doorway to people getting into this business. Can you imagine if your sponsor had never reached out to you? Where would you be? I don't know where I would be, but I'd probably be drunk. That's just what my life was. Dean would just be really angry in general, nothing in particular, he'd just be angry. We wouldn't be married, that's for sure. We wouldn't have two beautiful girls. And it's just what we do is so important, and I hope you feel that. I hope you believe that with every fiber of your being. Because out there, it can be scary. I don't watch the news because it's just depressing, and I don't believe half of it anyways. And I just think that we have to focus on what we can do, because one person can impact thousands and hundreds of thousands of people. One couple can impact hundreds and thousands of people if you just make a choice. You know, the Eatons were talking about diamond is a choice. It totally is a choice. It's not like diamond just happens. It's not glamorous necessarily even. It's glamorous when you're up here, and that ceremony at FED will be very special. But the everydayness of it, it's really just kind of simple and ordinary. You listen to a CD, you read your book, you go out and meet somebody, you go show the plan. I mean, it's just, no one's, waiting for you at home when you walk in the door at 3 a.m., giving you a standing ovation, saying, way to go, champ, you did it. No one's at home doing that. So no one knows what you're going through. No one sees those nights. No one sees you driving, trying to stay awake. But I mean, what an amazing thing to be a part of. And I hope that you make that decision. I hope that you see what Going Diamond can do for your family, what it can do to other people around you, and that you make that choice to do that. Because it is the greatest life in the whole world. It absolutely is. And I'm just so thankful for my husband, because I didn't see it at first. It took me 6 months and 3 major functions to get it, and I'm just so thankful that Dean saw it right away and dragged me along with him, and that Mike and Brandy were as awesome as they were, because that was what tied me, that's what kept me here. And then to finally see the vision and to understand what this business can do for families and for our countries, it's unbelievable. It's amazing. And so I hope that you believe that with everything in you, and I hope that you go out and change people's lives. I just want to end with a few things. Now that we're Diamond, Dean and I, we have like Dean and Marcie accounts where we just fill it with money when we feel like it. And we're allowed to spend whatever we want out of those accounts with no judgment passed. There's judgment passed, I assure you. Dean has literally spent thousands of dollars on our new Hummer. He got this horn that sounds like a train. And he got a PA system that's so loud, like when we're going 100 down the highway, he can yell at other cars through the PA system. And we have an ambulance, a police, and a fire truck alarm on our Hummer. He put all this stuff on it. I don't even know what it is, and I think it's totally stupid. I think it's totally stupid. However, on the other side, I made a new friend. She's not my best friend, but she's a really good friend. You might know her. Her name's Prada. Mm-hmm. She's a pricey friend. She likes to be, courted and styled. And I came home with Prada one day, and Dean's like, that is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. You paid how much for that bag? He's like, you could take that logo off and sell that bag for $25. And so you can have a lot of frivolous fun as well in this business. And that's really what we plan on doing the rest of our life, is just buying things that annoy each other. Anyways, we are so blessed, and I will fully admit to you, I think that I'm fully here. Mentally, I'm not sure how much percentage I am here. Those of you that are moms and have given birth and you know what that whole process is like I'm basically delirious right now. I may come across really calm and in control, but at any moment I could dive off the stage. So, anyways, I just want to bring Dean up. He is amazing, and I love you all. Thank you.
Wasn't she awesome? Yes, she was. She's a studette, but she screwed up when she said that the horn on our Hummer is a stupid idea. That is a necessary apparatus if you're going to be in the dream building business. And the number one reason I got that is for retirement parties. Because people need to know what's going on when we're freeing someone. And so I'm pulling up with that thing, and we're going to put all the sirens on it, and we're going to be on the horn, and we're going to be bellowing from the rooftops. And if you're not in our organization in here, you can hire me out, and I'll come to your retirement party. But what I love about this building is that people in here are 2%ers. We hear that all the time. That you hear that comment all the time. And what does that even mean? And it just means people are willing to go the extra mile. And outside of this arena, there are 2%ers, but they're mixed in that melting pot of discombobulation that's out there. And our job's to go and get them and show them what's available and help them understand what they can have access to. But it's kind of like everybody puts weak sauce on their food and washes it down with 98% milk, and they don't know how to win. And you hear speaker after speaker talk about how to win, how to move forward, that success is 98% attitude, and most of us, the only thing that's debilitating in our life is our attitude, and it's 2% details. Most of us have been an employee where you kind of get conditioned and programmed, and you have to ask permission to go to the bathroom, and that kind of carries over when you go to this function, and you think you have to ask permission, to take time off work to get to something like this, when in reality is that all of us are in control of our own life. We all have autonomy over our decisions, and jazz music was invented one generation out of slavery, and one person described it one time that it's a lot like a language of the soul, and the soul's trying to say something about freedom. And you can't really put it onto paper, even though it's music. It's tough to put onto paper. You can't put this on paper. This doesn't come packaged in a PDF, right? You got to communicate it through your heart to other people, and you have to be able to help people experience it. And there's no greater experience than these worldwide Dream Builder major functions. These things are incredible. So those of you that are guests in here, I hope you understand to not try and put this through the filter of, I wonder if this is for me. Wrong question. It's not about whether it's for you. It's about what it can do for you and what it can do for others. It has nothing to do with you. If we can lay our life down for a cause bigger than ourselves instead of living selfishly for ourselves, that's when we move forward. But the questions we're always asked to ask ourselves is it for me? Is it my thing? Is it my deal? Is it my cup of tea? What a stupid question. Cup of tea? Maybe if the Queen of England's in here, perhaps. But just change the question. Like, for most people, it should be, is it my bottle of beer? Is it my Frappalappa Whippo that cost me $5 that I didn't have money for and I financed? You know the interest you'll pay on that if you put it on a credit card and finance it? The interest that comes back to you, over the course of 5 years, that's how long it takes most people to pay that stuff off. But the question of whether or not it's for you or not it's irrelevant. You should not care whether this is for you. You should care if it gives you the outcome that you want. Instead of trying to find things you want to do, most people have quarter life crisis, midlife crisis, three-quarter life crisis if they make it that far, and crisis is in between. Because they ask the question of, what do I want to do with my life? Nobody knows the answer to that. I loved playing basketball. Look where it got me. I didn't want to do that for 40 years, even though I loved it. I'd love to be with my wife for 40 years. That'd be awesome. I'm the only person that can be her husband. Nobody else can fill that role. Everybody else can fill the role that she was occupied with, which was a school teacher. Everybody can fill the role I was occupied with, which was outside sales, which, by the way, on my retirement day, my boss is on video. I have it captioned. We should put it up there. And we'll call him Toti. My boss said on camera, well, I sure hope he finds a purpose in life. Because apparently, when you have a job, you've got a purpose. Apparently, when you set an alarm clock to leave your family, that's purposeful. But staying at home with your family, that's not purposeful. Who would want to do that? Who would want to leave their wife? My wife was better looking than my boss and in better shape, but yet I had to be armed out of bed to go and hang out with somebody that was not my wife. I joked that I should have taken the ring off my wife's finger and given it to Toti. And then the day that I retired, I could take it back. Because I was really married to Toti, I wasn't married to my wife. And you'll never catch me saying I love what I do. I'll never say it, because it's an insult to Marcie. To have her thinking, well, I guess I have to compete with his love. He loves something that doesn't love him back. Paychecks don't grow arms, mes amis, and go, I love you. Neither do bosses. But we're sure glad we didn't ask that question of what we want to do. Because what happens is you ask that question, and then all of a sudden, the rest of it's picked for you. You're not in control. You don't have any carte blanche anymore after that. You find what you want to do, and the rest of your destiny is already laid out for you. And that's why people just live for the weekend and drown themselves out and live paycheck to paycheck every 2 weeks, looking for a long weekend, which is never, there's no weekend long enough to call long. It's just a shortened work week. A long weekend is when you have a whole year off. It's awesome. And when people come up to you, if you're free in here, and say, how was your long weekend? I want you to tell them how awesome it was, how awesome it's continuing to be, and when it started. Because that's a true long weekend. People are totally out of balance. 5 days on, 2 weeks off. 50 weeks on, 2 weeks off. It takes 26 years to get a whole year off if you do the 52 thing. And then they criticize us and go, you guys are out of balance. I can't believe how out of balance you are. You build your business, or in the evening you moonlight building your business, and you have this job, but they don't realize it's temporary because their plan is not temporary. It's enduring, it's perennial, it's ongoing, it's not going to stop. They're not going to retire at 65. They're going to continue to keep on going after that. It used to be the 40-40 plan. It's now the 50-50-50-50 plan, meaning 50 hours a week, 50 years of your life, and then selling 50-50 at your grandkids' hockey games after that. It's true. So we were conditioned, decide what you want. What do you want to do with your life? And just when I thought I had all the questions, I had all the answers, someone changed the question, which was our upline. And Mike and Brandy and Dave and Carolyn Payne. And thankfully they were willing to kind of be a soundboard for us for a while. They had to turn the volume down most of the time because it was too loud coming out of our mouths with our high volume conversations in front of them. And they changed the question. They said, don't ask what you want to do, ask how you want to live. And then start to go the other way, start to work backwards. If you ask what you want to do, well then guess what happens? The next step is, what are you willing to sacrifice? Well, you don't even get to choose, it's already picked. 80,000 hours. How far along are we on that path? My dad used to tell me that the magic number is 85. If you're at least 55 years of age and you got 30 years of work and you combine the 285, you can retire. Baloney. Magic number for me was 28. I retired at the age of 26. I had 2 years of work under my belt, which was, a year and a half too long. It should have only been 6 months. That's about how long we should be working for somebody else. It's absolutely ridiculous if you're in here that if at whatever age you're at, plus 2 to 5 years from now, if you aren't retired, if you aren't free, financially independent. Because otherwise, the sacrifice is built in for you. You just, you pick what you want in life and then what you want to do, and then the sacrifice is picked, and then your association is picked for you. And there's no strategy in that at all. And everything I always hear says you're going to be a product of two things: the books you read and the people you associate with. And sometimes people in here that are in school say, well, I read lots of books. Don't confuse a textbook with a book. A textbook's not a book. You need a stinking magnifying glass to get through one page of a textbook. It takes me 4 minutes to read one page in a textbook. Finally, you flip the page. There's a picture you're supposed to study. I just get excited that there's a picture. I can go to the next page. So I increase my speed per page. Textbooks are not books. It conditions us so that when we get out into the real world, like 3% of people have a library card, which is where real success is. There's a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad that if you don't get the cover, don't even read the book. Because the cover says, who are you going to listen to? Who are you going to take advice from? Who's your village of advisors? If you go into shop class and the dude and the teacher has 3 fingers, do you take advice from him? That's financial death if you do that, but people do it when it comes to their finances all the time. You've got people in your life that have no fingers. They got stumps. And you'll leave here and go, hey, what do you think about this business? Hey, what do you think about retiring in 2 to 5 years? What do you think they're going to tell you? They're going to go, oh, it's a cult. It's a pyramid. It's almost like when we're born, we're put this little chip's been put into like under our skin, just right underneath it. So when someone shows us a true opportunity, we go, pyramid. It's got to be a pyramid. It's a cult. Yeah, guess what happens when you bring a group of free thinkers together? Or some of us are free thinkers, others of us are in the process of becoming that. And the non-free thinker looks at us and thinks we're the ones in the cult. when we know the truth? Don't confuse cult with duplication. You'll leave here, and it's your fault, by the way. We decide and we determine and we teach people how they can treat us. I hope you know that. So when you say, my friends are negative, the issue is your friends, not the negativity. Why are you hanging around negative friends? I don't have randomly gathered protoplasm in my life. And some people take that the wrong way. I'm not talking about them as a person. I'm sure they're great. I'm sure they're fantastic people. But our friendships in our life, we used to have randomly gathered protoplasm, but we don't anymore. Our friends in our life are people that, when we get together with them now, we talk about the future. We talk about moving forward. Randomly gathered protoplasm, we talked about the past, and we would be tied together and tethered together by one little thing, one little string that kept us together. And if you snipped the string and you didn't do that thing with them, they don't like you anymore. It's almost like they turn heel on you and they go rogue. And they become an enemy. What kind of friend is that? That's a frenemy. I was once a friend, turns into an enemy. I didn't have a lot of friends before this business either. You know those things called friendship bracelets? You remember those? I don't. I never had any. And the reason why is because I didn't want to do the things they did. I'd rather be alone. If you esteem your reputation at all, associate with men and women of good character. For it's better to be alone than to be in bad company, because bad company corrupts good character. And most people's self-image is attached to the randomly gathered protoplasm that are great people, but it's the friendship is often, it's a lot like the definition of stagnation. And if you read that definition, it says no current, no flow, and often a foul smell. And if you cut the one little string, they get mad at you and go, why don't you hang out with us anymore? When I was in grade 9, I got bumped up to play on the grade 10 team in basketball. What I didn't do is go back to the grade 9s and go, guys, you guys weren't asked up on the team. Maybe I should hang out with you. Should I stay back here with you? And I never even heard them saying, man, I can't believe you're going up to the grade 10 team. What's wrong with your loyalty, Dean? Can't believe that. They never said that, but in this business they do. They go, oh, you left us. All you do is that business now, because we compartmentalize it, because that's what everyone with the career mind does. We compartmentalize things. We have our job, and that stays up and over here, and then we have our friends over here, and then we've got our spouse over here. He gets a small box. These things get bigger boxes. And then we have our hobbies, and none of them bleed into any other ones. And so that's where you get this mindset of, you got to have balance. Greg Duncan says, show me your checkbook and I'll show you how to balance. There's no such thing in balance when something is a lifestyle. There's no such thing as balance when you don't ask the question of what do you want to do, and you start asking the question of how you want to live. What you want to do, your sacrifice is built in, your association is built in. You can't walk into work and go, yeah, you guys are okay here, but you and you, get out of here. I got a couple people that are going to fill your spot. I want them to be my coworkers. You can't do that. How you want to live is based on what that paycheck tells you. Children become adults when they stop doing childish things. And the reason I think most people don't have a vision for their life and don't have a purpose is because nobody knows why they do what they do, and nobody knows where they're going. And if you don't know where you're going, you're bound to end up where you're headed. And if you aim at nothing, you'll probably hit it. And that's why year after year after year, most people are in the same spot in life that they were 5 years beforehand. And they wonder, why? If people had a vision for their life, then why in 1990 was the average video game player 18 years of age, and in 2012, the average video game player is 37? The 18-year-old just kept playing, didn't he? If we were winning in life, why would we try and win on a video game? If we were winning in life, why would we go become part of a softball team as a man? When I was in high school, men didn't play softball. Women did. And they threw the ball hard. Men take this swollen ball and slow it down after they put the leotards on. We got into a partnership with Mike and Brandy Wagner 7 years ago. And they were willing to invest their time and their money. And that was their end of the bargain. And our end of the bargain was to be core. And though I just think those of you that are business owners in here that are not being core, shame on your brain. Because you have someone that's willing to invest time and money into you, if you do, and a lot of you in here do. Mike and Brandy were willing to invest their time away from their family to come help us. They're willing to invest their time away from their other leaders to come help us. They're willing to invest their time answering questions for us. They're willing to invest time into us by coming twice a month to serve us. They're willing to invest time into us to show us how to take someone through a process and have them earn this opportunity so that they value it the way that they need to value it. And they invested money. And they invested the whole enchilada when it came to income. They invested money into their gas tank at first. Then they invested money into flights because they flew miles for our business. Then they invested money into hotels. They invested money into rental cars and gas into the rental cars. That was their end of the bargain. And our end of the bargain is listen to a CD. Read from a book. Oh, I don't know if I have time. Once again, Success Principle says you make time for things that are priority. You don't look to have time. If we can make time for a job that's 40, 50, 60 hours a week, how come you can't make time to build this business? When you got your first job, did you just show up and go, yeah, I've got all this time sitting aside for you. Here it is. I have this time. Here it is. No, you made time. You made time 40, 50, 60 hours a week, and yet we talk about 10 to 15 hours a week to build a business for ourselves. I'm sure glad Mike and Brandy kept that standard high, so we understood, and I understood why it made sense to stay local and build this business and not go overseas and play professional basketball. Most people that are hardwired like employees, they go, I can't believe you didn't go and play basketball. And in my brain, I'm going, you can't believe that I would go overseas and get into more debt and not be paid what I'm worth and go and try and follow a dream that I know is not going to come into fruition? Just to try and keep that little dream alive with the what I want to do dream instead of the how I want to live. That didn't lead to a great lifestyle. But when you choose how you want to live, then all of a sudden you go find the association of people that live the way you want to live. You go find them. You don't enroll in a class. You don't go take out student loans. And how many kids I see today going, I'm going to school to make my parents happy. If you really wanted to make your parents happy, you'd build this business because going to school is not going to affect them and benefit them. Building this business would. Going to school repeats the same cycles as the parents did. And if you ever want to have a life greater than your parents, you better learn how to take advice from people outside of your parents. If you want to change your family tree, you start listening to people outside your family tree. That's another thing we were taught, how to listen to people that have a financial vested interest in us, not an emotional vested interest. I didn't know Mike and Brandy from a hole in the wall. Marcie tells me Brandy's retired and Mike's almost retired. I said, we need to meet them now. For different reasons. I wanted to meet them for the reasons that I'm just sharing with you. Marcie wanted to meet them because she thought they were doing pretty good financially, so she figured if we went out for dinner that they would pay. And in sitting down with them, within a week, they became the person I listened to the most, the people I listened to the most. I didn't go back and start asking my parents for advice on how to be financially free. That's what kills most people. When someone sees this business, they go and they listen to the wrong people. That's the thing I like to test the most. When you see this, you go through a process of getting educated about this business. If I'm taking you through a process of educating you, I'm going to test you. You can test me, I will pass with flying colors. But I will test you. Because I want to know, can you demonstrate that you know who to take advice from and who not to take advice from? Can you demonstrate how to make educated decisions and not emotional ones? Can you demonstrate you're an adult and not a child? Can you demonstrate how to take something serious or as serious as you should be treating it instead of treating jobs that pay you not even 6 figures and you don't even have any ownership seriously? That should be treated casually. If someone can't treat this business as serious as they treat a job interview, then why should we have someone who's unwilling to think like an entrepreneur, be put into an entrepreneurial system only 3 months down the road to go, oh, that business doesn't work. No, they didn't work. The business works. They didn't work. This business works if you work it. The only way you ever get a lot from giving a little is if you first give a lot and hardly get anything. And that's the mindset of building an asset. That's the other thing Mike and Brandy taught us. It's 5 years, no breaks mentally. Your head's in the game the whole time. You don't take vacations. You don't do the 2 weeks on, 1 week on, 5 days on, 2 days off. You don't do the 50 weeks on, 2 weeks off. Mentally, you stay in the game the whole time. And we started to learn how to make decisions and run things through filters. We started to understand the difference between family legacy and family leisure. That when people say, we put family first, what does that mean to most people? You know what it means? It means family leisure. It means going on a weekend and going camping. Okay, this is a bed. This is where humans sleep. This is the floor. That's where pets sleep. This is the ground. That's camping. They helped us understand how to put things into perspective as to who to take advice from and how to become decisive as to how we made decisions and who influenced our life. They helped us understand there's 3 levels of relationships. There's not just one. Family's not just one big block or one big category. It's broken down. We have level 1 relationships in our life, we have level 2 relationships, and we have level 3 relationships. Level 1 relationship is Marcie, myself, our 2 daughters. And by the way, I'm the president of DADD, Dads Against Daughters Dating. It's an awesome club. I won't have to worry about it for about 35 years because they're not even 1 yet. That's level 1 relationships, and we prioritize all decisions in life to benefit that. Well, you put that business above your family. No. Marcie and I need to be at that function because it puts our family ahead of everything else. We miss things that don't have anything to do with moving our relationships forward. This is more beneficial to your marriage than anything else I think you can do. We had our wedding day on August 17th, 2007, and we've had about 20 of them since, and they're all way better. This is our wedding. It's happening right now. Because we're with people that are part of our future. Our actual wedding, those people, we haven't seen 95% of them again. They wanted to get together and talk about what we did when we were 14. I may have appeared calm at my wedding, but I wanted to punch them in the face inside my head about 3 times. Level 2 relationships. Level 2 relationships is our vertical alignment in blood family and chosen family. And chosen family is our line of sponsorship. So our blood family, it's my parents, it's Marcie's parents, it's Marcie's grandparents. We wouldn't be here without them, physically. So we believe that's an obligatory relationship, and we spend some time with them, but we have a threshold. We know how long we can spend with each of them depending on what environment we're in. Level 2 relationships are also our upline, because we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them in terms of having the hope that we have to build a future for ourselves. And that's the only people in level 2. Level 3 are all of our fair weather friends and all relatives that aren't part of level 2. And any one of them can become part of level 2 anytime they want, because level 2 also includes our downline kids. And any of them can become part of level 2 relationship if they think like us, but if they don't think like us, why would I spend time creating more of a personal affection with people that aren't going in the same place that I'm going? Why would I do that? It makes 0 sense. Well, you have to have friends outside the business. I don't believe you do. Because this is all one big room. It's a lifestyle. It's not compartments. I don't want anybody in my life outside of level 2 relationships affecting how we make decisions. We will make decisions based on level 1 first, level 2 second. Level 3 can become level 2. My brother's in level 3. My brother wants to find out what he wants to do. I want to find out how I want to live. And I can't spend a bunch of time with my brother because it's going to take away from level 2 relationships. And anytime he wants to change the way he thinks, because this business does not wreck relationships, it reveals relationships like nothing I've ever seen before. It will reveal everyone in your life. It will reveal how they think, why they do the things that they do. And for the first time ever in my life, things became crystal clear. And I started to be able to go, now I understand why I need to associate with this person but not this person. Now I understand why I'm doing this and they're not doing it. We don't think the same way. And my dad would ask me, he'd go, Dean, you don't spend any time with this person and this person anymore. I go, no, we have two totally different value systems. This person's content with mediocrity. I am not. You only have so much bandwidth for relationships. So if I'm going to have a certain amount of bandwidth for relationships, it's going to go to the people that benefit my wife, that benefit my 2 kids. Does that make sense to you? So the next time somebody ever says to you, oh, you don't have time for us anymore. No. It's not that you don't have time for them. They didn't want to come with you. They didn't want to come. They said, I'm going to stay on the grade 9 team. You go be on the grade 10 team. They wanted to stay a penguin. Penguins are a lot like human beings, man. Here's what penguins do. They just swim north until it gets colder, and colder. Finally, they find ice. They're like, it's getting colder. Let's just keep going north. That sounds brilliant. They find ice. And the first one hops up on it, all excited, all jubilant, and decides he's going to slide along the ice and create a rut. Second one goes, oh, that looks like a good idea. I'm going to do that too. And they all just follow suit. It's kind of like sheeple. We just sort of follow suit, and we don't actually pay attention to whether or not it's good for us or not. And when they're all done, you know what they do? They gather in a big circle, and they make noises. I'm like, that's kind of like the rut thing 5 days a week, and then Saturday it's the barbecue and big circle and make noises. Sound familiar? Marcie and I don't care about the details, we just care about the outcome of this business. We're outcome focused, we're not process focused. I don't care about whether the products are good or they're not. I don't care. Our number one product is opportunity. I understand there'd be no opportunity without products, but if the products were crap, and I tell people this all the time at board plans, they go, Brandon, the products sure are awesome. I go, yeah, but I don't care if they were or they weren't. If they were crappy, I'd still ingest them. But it doesn't matter to us. It's the fact that it gives us these results. It doesn't matter if it's our cup of tea. We don't care about cups of tea. We care about we have this place called Tim Hortons up in Canada. We have these places up in Canada, Tim Hortons, and we pull all the cups out. I distract all the employees. I hire people to distract the employees. And what you do, here's what you do. There's something called roll up the rim to win. And you just keep on reefing all the cups out. Just keep reefing them out, man. And it doesn't matter what flavor they are. It doesn't matter none of that matters. All that matters is you just keep rolling up the rim until you find the one that says financially independent. And then you hide it in here and you run away and you go, I got it. And everybody else as you're going out going, what flavor is it? And you flip the cup around and it says any flavor will do. It doesn't matter. Outcome, not process. Outcome. If you have another way to create financial freedom in 2 to 5 years that's better than this, go do it. But if you don't have anything to compare it to, stop making stuff up. Marcie and I didn't supplement before this business. We saw supplements and said, we're going to supplement. Here's a good reason to start being healthy. So we're going to start supplementing. Marcie didn't use skincare before this business. I didn't either. She didn't use makeup. My philosophy was red lipstick is found on clowns. You don't put that on your face. So all of a sudden you get skincare in this business, and it's like, what? We're starting to use skincare. I use skincare. People ask me, what do I use? I don't know. Marcie buys it all. I don't know what it does. I just put it on. I don't really need to know. It's PV. Doesn't matter to me. I use the stuff. Failure is not an option for a lot of people. And I just think it better be an option, because if it isn't, success isn't an option. If failing isn't an option, chances are you won't even try. You're not entitled to anything if you have a piece of paper or a degree other than an opportunity to fail and an opportunity to succeed. And the problem with the job is it doesn't allow you to fail. If you fail, you're fired. You can fail here. It has a safe bottom, as Ron Preer talks about, and you get bounced back up by your mentors. You're taught here that failing is a good thing. If failure wasn't an option, we wouldn't have heard of Babe Ruth, home run king and the strikeout king. We wouldn't have heard of Michael Jordan. He didn't make his grade 9 basketball team. They thought he was too small. In the next 2 years, he grew 4 inches, and he honed his game. Abraham Lincoln has an extraordinary record of lost elections and public office failures over the course of his career. And Thomas Edison, who stabilized the filament for a light bulb, said, "I have not failed. I've simply found 10,000 ways that do not work." And where there is no hope, there is no fear. Where there is hope, there's an opportunity to overcome fear. Hope is the only thing stronger than fear. I'll leave you with this. You're never really dead until nobody knows you lived. And legacy is not about living forever, but it's about creating something that does. You're born an original. Don't die a photocopy. If God blesses you with a talented child, will you be able to afford it? The average child from 0 to 18 years of age costs their parents $250,000. And let me be the voice for the voiceless, because if you don't have grandkids in here yet, which a lot of you probably don't, I'll be the voice for them. And they're saying this: if you don't build this business, will you be a burden to me? And they are longing for an advocate to step up for the future that they don't even know that they have yet. It's not who you are that holds you back. It's who you think you aren't. We are where we are because we started where we were and we used what we had. All this business takes is all you've got. And the ultimate measure of a person is not where they stand in moments of comfort and convenience, but where do they stand in moments of challenge and controversy. And I'm challenging all of you to step up and embrace your potential, to discover your potential, to develop it, and donate it to the rest of the world, because it is an obligation for all of us to do that. And no other arena talks about this stuff other than this arena. You are asked for a contribution, not an acquisition, but a contribution to make to the world. Have a great rest of the night.